Well, good morning, my YouTube friends. It's Margaret here from M.E.s Orchids, and you might wonder why I've brought you into the grow room this morning. Well, yesterday, what I thought I might do is for this coming winter, for the ones that need a winter rest, I would actually do notes on little cards like this. And so yesterday, I'd got this Dendrobium gracilicaule, and you'll see my notes there. And it was outside, along with the Dendrobium crimimentum, delicatum, Dendrobium a day, and all the frags are still outside because we've had some nice rain. But this particular one, it's quite a monstrous one, in the sense that it'll show you there that it's the delicate stems Dendrobium, and I noticed that one of the stems was bent, and I thought, oh, well, I've got to do something about that. And I don't know what made me think to actually Google it, but I did decide to Google it, and then I realised that it grows best. Let me just bring some light up for you. It grows best as an epiphyte, and let's bring that better. And you'll see there, I found this huge piece of wood outside yesterday, and I thought, well, it's too long to hang anywhere, and then I suddenly realised, well, I could actually hang it from this area here. And so I set to, tied it up with string. I haven't put any moss on it because when I read the notes, it likes to be watered every day, but it does like to dry out. And there's one of these canes, I don't think you'll see it here, I'd actually started to produce roots. And this piece of wood here, like I say, I found it in the garden, and I thought this is going to be ideal because you see, look at the length of it. But because this is like a soft cane Dendrobium, it needs something for the canes to rest upon. And so that's why they flop when it's the other way up. And I thought, oh, well, here goes. I'm going to mount it on this piece of wood. Now, all I do with this wood, I get it out of the garden, it's been there in there donkey's years. I spray it with hydrogen peroxide so all the wood lice come scurrying out, and I brush it down and spray it all over then with hydrogen peroxide, and that's it, that's all I do. I don't sanitise now the wood, because I mean, at the end of the day, if this happened to be in a forest, the trees aren't sanitised. So I did that one yesterday, and I've done the notes for that one. This one here, this other big one, the Dendrobium Li Chang Yi Miriam, that's very slow, but it has adjusted now to my environment, in the sense that you can't see the roots, but there are new roots there. And again, you see, I've tilted that downwards, and I've had to just hold those long canes in place. Now, the one in the far corner there, just bear with me a minute if I can do it without shaking, and just hold the torch up there. That one, can you see? Can you see the new growths there? That's the Dendrobium, the two-leaf folium. And can you see the length also of the canes? That goes right down. And that was in a piece of wood similar to that one, but it actually wasn't that sturdy as this one. So I decided to put it in a sturdier piece of wood. And let me just brighten this corner up for you so you can, that's it, sorry about that. And I'm on my steps, so I've got to be careful. And that's quite firm there. So that means I've had to move these. This is the Holcoblossom subdiflorum. This is the one that got a bit of scale. Can you see the marks? How it marks the leaves. And then I put the other Holcoblossom. Can't remember that one now. What the name is. And that one. Look at the roots on that. That's the Laelia autumnalis. Look at the roots. So I'm just giving you a quick view. That's the Orchids valcata with the nice growing roots there. And this is the one of the three sisters that I call them. This is that Phalaenopsis, and that's giving that nice inflorescence. So what I've done, because I've had to move this Holcoblossom here, and it because it's had scale, I don't like to put anything too close to it. So I've brought these little glass vases up, and these are the ones that have got the Masdevallias in, and this is the Masdevallia, just the hybrid. And let's take this down a bit. There, and it's still in bloom. Gorgeous little thing. And of course, look at the length of this new growth here. This is the Procativolia. And goodness gracious. So I've had to do a little bit of juggling, as you do, but nothing that I can't accommodate. I'll show the other side of the room in a minute. That, of course, is the Laelia purpurata, and this is that new growth there. That's the one with the sheath. That might do something, but there again it might not. And that's the one of the I think that's the BLC. Oh no, this is Pink Diamond. That's right. Now where's the other Pink Diamond? Because I've got, oh, it's tucked behind there. Can you see? Tucked behind there. And this one I've brought here. So it's slightly tilted, and there. I don't know how to say that. Something happy holiday. And but it's giving me this new growth. Look at that. So remember when I caught the end of the leaf when it was only just starting to open, and look at it's full damage. And I've had to, can you see the new roots there? Isn't that nice? I've got sphagnum moss and just holding it down with some bark. So that's doing very nicely. The way it was getting too much sunlight. And of course that's underneath. Excuse the noise if you can hear that fan, but while I've got these small lights on down here, that fan stays on continuously. So I've had the Cattleyas outside, and they're doing very nicely. And of course that's the Maxillaria that gave me that nice bloom. And here, let's just show you. I've had to try and manoeuvre things. This is the Epicattleya Alatilio Santa Maria. Look at the roots there. Can you see all those roots? And can you see how they've gone inside that bark? There's two of them. You can see that green root there, but there's one underneath, and that's also gone inside that nice soft bark. But doing very well. And so I've had to accommodate that there. And we move over here. This is on the front table. And if I just gently, there we go. Hope there's not too much sunlight. So that's the Dendrobium chrysotoxum. Now I did check that the other day, and I've split that when I come to realise. I think I've split it into 3 now, and it's more manageable that way. And of course this is the Dendrobium thiciflorum with that wonky cane here. I have to be ever so careful. Look at the bark area. Look at the roots on that. That loves that. That's the Dendrobium famosum runcommel, and that's the other one. That's the Dendrobium famosum Myanmar. It has sent new roots out. It's aborted a few leaves, but it sent new roots out. So I've got to be grateful for that. That was that transition period. I find that a lot with some of the plants. They will abort the leaves, and that's that. If I just step down, those are the bulbs for the catasetum. That's the palatum that aborted that growth. So that's just waiting there. And now this one, I don't know whether I can get in to show you without knocking everything down. This is the Coleogene burfordiense, which is the best way. Oh, you can just about see there's a new growth tucked in there. Now I'm coming over to this area now where the fan is a little bit noisy, so I will just raise my voice just slightly. Sorry about this. Okay, so let's take you back just a fraction, and then you'll see that window area now. So that's it doesn't want to stay. There we go. So those are the Vandas, and you see, and that one there, of course, that's the Dendrobium pendulum. And I go back up here now. Is that new growth? I tuck you in here now. And if I can move hands and get this torch, you'll see. Right, so that's the pastoral innocence. And can you see? There's a new growth there. And let's see if it'll just focus right. Right. So there looks like a green blob. Well, that was that growth that I knocked and put a plinth on it, and then I took the plinth off, and it's sending out a new growth, and there's the new other growth underneath it, so that's doing nicely. That's the Phalaenopsis tetraspis, and if you'll notice, that's the one that's in bloom there, and take that down a bit, there. Take it a bit light again now. And this one here, this is the Rinco style RLC, and that's Hei Song Tianmu. I don't know if you'll see that. Now let me just see if I can get my torch going here, so you might see it. Oops. Down in there. Let's see if I can show you where is it. It's always awkward when they're big plants like this. But sorry about that. In there are nice green growing tips. So what I've had to do with this one now is accommodate this, and I've put it on one of those wire mounts, and this went outside in that rain, and I've attached it here, and that's the Phalaenopsis there, amboyensis. So I've had to move that. I've had to put the little Phalaenopsis that's in bloom, I've had to tuck that under here, and you'll see there, and because I've moved it, we've had one little bud that's blasted, so that's had to be tucked in there. And these are the other vandas. Come on and focus. There we go. That's it. Is it going to focus? That's that one there is Vanda Peaches. There we go. That's the big Vanda curvifolia. It's giving me that new leaf, and these are giving me new roots and new leaves. And that's Miniata. These were watered yesterday. There's Joy Irene. And so I've had to bring this Phalaenopsis hieroglyphica here. But you noticed last week, I think it was, it started to drop these two back leaves, and I've no idea why, because the root system's absolutely, it's giving me a new leaf there in the middle, but for some reason it's dropping these two back leaves, and I've no idea why. That's the Sidendemphinia. It's doing very nicely, and this is the only other one I've actually remounted, and that's the Laelia. Now which is this one? This is the one that had a hell of a job. Oh, Rubson's. But I've managed to get it on a sturdier piece of wood. It's got nice green roots, and I've managed to accommodate that there. And if we go back over here, we've just seen those two, haven't we? And this is the Siderea japonica. That's the Chia E. Yunlin. That's the other Elsie Barmanzo palm. And that's the, don't know if I can get down and show you. That's the there we go, Lucinary. And of course, if we come down here, that's the Samira. That's the Phalaenopsis Samira. I've got that many I have to think now. And this is of course Bulbophyllum labii, and that's giving me now two new growths. And of course this area here is where all the Hoyas are, and they're doing very nicely now. They've been out in all that rain. And, so if I take you back around here, if I can, and that's that one, that's still in bloom. And there's the other Chrysotoxum behind there. These are the two Pathiopedilums I've got, and you see the name there, that's Colopa kingii, got a new leaf, and that's Rothschiildianum, giant wings, and that's got a new centre leaf. And of course this is Tetragonum, and this is doing wonderfully well. It's had that new growth, the smaller, and then you see a new one coming there. So it's got nice green roots. So it's had that new growth, and it's got another one coming now. and we've got a new growth on that, on baby as I call it. So that's doing very well. And that's of course the Gatton Sunray, and that's the other part of the chrysotoxum. So as you can see under here, oh there, now, you've not heard me talk about this one for a long time, Thunia bensonii. This is the one that looks like a bamboo cane, and it dies back in the winter. Now this last winter had leaves, and then I decided to, I decided to do something with it, can't remember what now, and I said I'd probably kill this one now, and I did think I had, but look at that, it's got a new growth, so I'm thrilled to bits with that, absolutely thrilled to bits. And that's the Oncidium powii, that species Oncidium, and I've separated them out and put them in 2 separate pots. So, and of course underneath there we've got a different array of Phalaenopsis, and likewise under here, except for the middle one, which is of course an African violet, and but everything, I've still got one of the Masdevallias here, and that's the Stellis there. So all in all, things are looking very nice. So if I gently take you over here now, you'll notice, I'm just going to squeeze past this fan here. You'll notice I've, on this back piece of shelving, I've put some wiring. The wiring that I've got round the Hoyas. And I thought, oh, that's a good idea. I'm going to do that. Now I'm struggling at the moment with this one here, which is my pseudo-lamellatum. And I've put it in this piece of cork bark, and it's the back part of it, because it keeps aborting the new growth, and I don't know why. So I'll just have to keep my eye on that one. And of course this one there, can you see the new growth? That's Hildepoxen. That loves that area. Loves the mount. That's the Dockerillia. And that's the nice big Scaphoglottis. So a lot of them are doing exceptionally well. This is the Gomza. I've had to just place that there because it's on, the mount it's on isn't particularly good for just hanging, which is a bit annoying, and I've had it always, but it's had to stay there now for the moment. You'll notice I've got empty shelves. Oh, that's Springderima pollen there, but you'll notice there's empty shelves. Well, that's because of course of all the frags and the other Dendrobiums outside. Let me just get my step, and then, excuse me, because if I don't get my step here now, I can't step up for you. Right. Let's wait for it to adjust. There. And so that's a no ID Phalaenopsis. That's the that's a named Cattleya. Now which one's that? Can't think of it at the moment. And that one there, that's one of the Neos. And I think that's the oh, here we are. Let's have a look if I can. Oh yes. Let's have a look. That's Baby Angel. Now I will just check that because it's giving me a yellowing leaf. And that's Sergioaria. No, that's not Sergioaria. That is... I've got another one down here, I'll tell you what it is in a second. That's the J.L. Candy. Oh, that's just another. No idea, Phalaenopsis. So that's J.L. Candy. That's been one of those. That's one of the furry ones. Now that's been one of those, of course, that found it difficult to transition. And it dropped quite a few leaves. But it's transitioned now and it's enjoying that spot. And of course, that cane there, well, stick, whatever you want to call it, out of the garden, that's got some of the species, miniature type orchids on it. And that's the Ascasendra, and that's just got that one root, so I've got to keep my fingers crossed on that one. And that's the Coleogeny, and here we go, there's the other one to that one. Now let's have a look what it's called. And then there, Cincoriana by Alawii. So let's tuck it under there, it'll go. There we go. That's got that new root and got that new growth there. And there's the Dendrobium Chrysium from Roger. It's just one of the canes wilted and hasn't made it, but these three have, and all those three have sent keikis, well, leaves, new growths. That little one there, Cernua, let me just put my torch down. This little one here, Cernua, let's just pick it up. I have to be ever so careful. Can you see? Oh, I was so thrilled. Look at that. A new growth. So that's taken absolutely ages. But it's adapted. The one that I had there, it just rotted. So I removed that very quickly. But that one has survived. So I'm really chuffed with that one. And oh, this one here, this is that nice M.E.s sunlight, and got that new growth there. Now the tip went on that, and the tip went on that because I tried to attach this piece of wood, which I did attach, but some of the glue, the wood glue, must have touched the tip and the tip died back. So I could have kicked myself, as you do, but I've still got that growth, new root, and there's a new root round this other side as well. So I think there's enough there to sustain it. And this is the Neo-Phoenicia Shootano. And it's got that nice root there, and I think somewhere else there's another root. And that's growing very nicely there. That's the only one I've got here of the Dendrobium Phalaenopsis. And I won't wobble the tablet because for getting the name it's there anyway. That's the Caribbean Sunset, that little mini Phalaenopsis. And those are the Tolumnias, that big one down there. Let me zoom in. That's the Laelia labata, and that's got a nice root there. So I decided to mount this one, even though the leaves don't look brilliant, do they? But I think they do prefer, the Laelias do prefer to be mounted. That's my little Williamsii, and that's, of course, another Tolumnia, and that's the Dendrobium primulinum, that's the little keiki. And that's another pendulum, and it did have a little growth, didn't it? And I thought, oh, I'll put it on this little thin piece of wood. And I was moving things about and I knocked the growth off, so that was another sigh from Margaret. And so if we take you back over here, it's going to be a long video, this is, I do apologise, but while you're doing a video you may as well do a complete video, and that's that Rinco Stylish Gigantica Peach. This one here, all by its lonesome, is the, oh look at that, oh I don't look at this very often. Now what's that growing in there, is that a new leaf? This is the Miltonia Royal Robe, and this is the big Dendrobium plicatile. And I've got another new growth there, and I've got another new growth where the little white roots are. So, and this one here I'm pointing to now, that was a new growth it's given me this year as well. You see, some of them do like to hang and be on pieces of wood. That's the Dendrobium Polyanthum Cinnamon Primulinum, and of course we've already shown you that one. So I'll come down here very, very slowly, give you this back view here. I'll put another one of those wires through here and just hang a couple of things on. The little no ID Phalaenopsis, and I've got the Tuberolabium there, and that's the Pamela Hetherington, Cattleya Pamela Hetherington, and of course this is that nice big Cattleya, I've got the name somewhere. This is Dusky Maid, RLC, Bruce Randall, and there's that new growth there that I'm just gently lifting up. Now I've got a lot of roots in there, but it's not showing me any active growing tips yet, so I'm hopeful. And of course down there's the Angraecum, that new leaf coming out there, that's been out in the rain. And this one here of course is the Phaestancondylia.